has, but nothing you've done yourself. So no more Blitzcrank for for TT. That's going to be a big thing for them. I'm worried that TT are running out of a lot of their power picks. They're on blue side for game 3. What have they got left for us?
I wonder whether we start to just see some triple bans against UCal. The Tristana, you can't give him that. Too good at that one. They're going to get rid of the Rumble, which again is something that Hoyet can play. We'll see exactly how it all rounds out. It does feel like TT is saying, look, we just can't give Ruler those 2 key AD carries. He's way too good at them. Ash in particular, I'm so glad he's playing again. He's so good at that champion.
Also missing is fantastic Ash support. Even if Ash support has become less and less prioritized in summer after so many nerfs to that champion, man. She's been so taken off the board. So what are our first picks left? We have Corki available for UCal. Go play towards that one, unless JDG banned that one away. And it's JDG that could, if they want to play an AD mid laner again, they could go towards... I mean, I wouldn't... Yagao's not really a Yone player. He could go towards something like the Jace himself. I'd imagine it's going to be UCal on the Corki as the last remaining AD mid laner. But then the question is, do they have another AP jungler they want to play?
Yeah, that is.
Well, they have Karthus. That's the easy one.
So say Corki Karthus. Say Corki Karthus feels pretty good. I wonder whether they have to lock in the Corki now again.
Well, they wouldn't have to because you can't pick
play it. Yeah, so, sorry, but it's just they don't want to reveal too much.
Yeah, the Corki's the easy one. I think actually in game 3, when there's a load of picks which can't be played by the other team, it's just easy to lock it away. Normally, I would say pick it on 3rd pick or whatever, because there's nothing stopping JDG from giving it to you, because they can't pick it themselves. But yeah, as you said, it's just very easy. I'd imagine Yagao can either go towards like some big lockup champion in the mid lane like Talia. They go towards Kanavi's Nidalee. He is a fantastic very, very talented early pathing champion player of the champion. Will need some setup in lanes though.
I wonder as well, because it's through to game 3, maybe you're less fussed about kind of taking things away when it's like, well, I know what we're picking, and they're all champions that the other team can't pick anyway. So it's a bit pointless taking them away. So it's just trying to hide out exactly what the flex of the draft will be. Yagao goes towards the Yone. It's not a champion I've come to associate with him that much, but the combo can be pretty dangerous if you get shoved. You can certainly go diving a long, long way.
Yeah, this is the first Yone of the split for Yagao. I don't know how much Yagao is played in, how much he's played in general. I'm actually going to go for a quick check on that. He's played...
Okay. Worth noting as well, Feather goes towards the Nautilus, not the Leona.
Folks, this is Yagao's first ever Yone game, as far as I'm aware. I don't think that's true. I'm going to have another check on another website because sometimes some games get missed. But we did say Corki Karthus very likely from TT. It was going to be something like a Jace or a Yone for Yagao. I'm surprised he went towards that Yone. It is better lockup for the Nidalee as opposed to the Jace, which has very little CC. But it's not a specialty pick of Yagao.
Yeah, I was about to say, I didn't feel like it was something I had associated with, and rightly so, apparently, because he just hasn't played it before. So, be a new look from them. Missing gets on the Alice for a champion they're very good at, and at this point, a lot of dive. You can start jumping in with the extended range on the Pounce if you start hitting some of those passives from Nidalee, and Yone's ability to follow up from miles away is well studied at this point. Alistair are good at that as well. Does mean that people like Beitron need to be positioning well on the Karthus, because you are sometimes vulnerable to being jumped on, for all that you're okay after death for at least a brief moment.
So, this is, just confirming again, Yagao's first ever Yone game. He has never played this champion in his career. It's not something we've come to know from him. And it is a different look for JDG. It means that Yagao has some good engage potential, which is good. He's typically a good engaged player. He was great on the Annie last year and his Nico. Very, very powerful champions for him. Yone can do similar stuff, but in a much more mechanically intensive way, it does feel. And now we're getting himself into the second round of bans. Once again, AD carry's really not been prioritized in the first round bans. It's been much more about top side, particularly mid-jungle, in terms of the priority picks.
Of course, with the fact that JDG have the R4 pick as well here, their ability to ban 2 AD carries and then pick a third could put 1xN in a very difficult position in terms of AD carry options.
So, we do have JDG potentially able to pick up something like a Varus, but they could pick a Varus, which would be something that TT can't play anyway. I'm somewhat surprised that JDG ban away the Ezreal. I think that would have been fine this game, but and of course that would have been also another takeaway from TT. Not hard focusing in AD carries, rather banning out something which could be situationally very powerful. I wonder if they're going to lock in a Cassante for sheer, actually. Take away one of the last few frontlining options off the table. Take away the Poppy, which is an okay matchup, into the Cassante in that top lane. And allow sheer a kind of an uncontested top lane tank matchup. Yeah, I think Cassante's not awful here. And since they banned away the Poppy, it might be signaling that.
Yeah, I could have seen what that could be. And there is the Cassante. Very potent pick. We know exactly how good it can be. And with Skarner not available for either top lane, I think it's a valuable lock-in here. And it saves you the ability to lock in something interesting from Ruler. The last time we saw them do this with game 1, of course, and they ended up with the Xayah, and it didn't really work out.
So, what are we going to get from Hoya? He plays a bit of the Jax. Jax is okay into the Cassandra. He can work into the Yone later as well. Hoya, not necessarily known for his big carries. He has been a bit more of the, the bruiser into tank frontliner kind of player. Big player stuff like, again, the Cassandra, the Skarner this split, and of course the Renekton, which he's played a lot. He's locking in the Twisted Fate. That's not the easiest thing for him. I mean, well, technically, it could be 1xn on that. As well. Vayne being Hovered, I think that's less likely.
I'm looking at a lot of melee champions. It would be a very risky call. Sivir, and of course the Aphelios, still things very comfortable for 1xn. Don't look at the Aphelios win rate, guys. It's not great for 1xn. He is, however, a very accomplished player of the mechanics on the champion, but they decide against this traditional AD carry, and they go towards the Ziggs.
We did the cardinal sin, Sam. Carthus will have to give us a sermon on this on a preacher. It was about not talking about the hovers, because they baited us there. And Ruler does no such thing. Ruler's Kai'Sa. We saw his Xayah earlier in the day. His Kai'Sa is equally legend. Well, maybe slightly less legendary, but definitely a pick he's had a huge amount of value on. Can dive onto the Karthus that, well, everyone but the Nautilus he could dive onto.
I'm trying to remember as well, was Yukal a big Ziggs player back in the day? I half wondered whether we might see the flex to the Corki AD carry, which has not really seen much play here in the LPL. And I think the Corki mid makes a bit more sense with the AP jungle. You do kind of want to spread that AP AD kind of threat around a little bit. But JDG, with a composition that's all about jumping in on one person and eviscerating them, not dissimilar, honestly, to what TT tried in game 1. And then the other side, a lot more range, a lot more burst from a long way away from the side of Thunder Talk Gaming.
As far as I can tell, there has been no Ziggs games in Yukal's career, so that one was, firmly held within that bowling, but still the first time for everything. It's just nice pointing that one out as well. It would be a first time for a win in the group stage here for Thunder Talk Gaming. They have won a game against JDG, but they need to double tap. They need to see if they can finish this one off. They had a great comeback victory in game 1. Game 2 was lights out. Game 3, JDG wanting to recover some lost pride. Spare their blushes a little for that game 1. See if they can close this out in a 2-1.
Skins on screen. Drafts on screen. One team needs to finish it up, and it feels like it should be JDG. Crowd begins to cheer once more for their favourites. Bit of posturing now around the mid lane as 1xn. Well, got a little auto attack off there on missing. Forced away as Ruler tries to step on forwards here as well. I wonder if they're looking for some slightly deeper wards to check out some of those earlier pathing options. The Karthus able to path from either side, of course, able to very swiftly farm. Of course, Kanavi on the Nidalee. It's certainly a champion you can potentially look to do some early shenanigans with if you get ahead of the curve.
Needs to have something to leverage off, though. Need to see what's going to happen in these early lanes. Sheer likely going to get pushed in top side. Mid lane, Corki tends to get early push over the Yone, at least level 1, level 2. And then, of course, in bot lane, maybe, because you've got the Nautilus versus the Alistair, that can help you with the laning pressure there, too. So it's not the easiest Nidalee early game from Kanavi in regards to what the lanes are going to give to you.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, a lot of your CC is going to have to wait, particularly from your solo lanes, for probably 6, right? Your Gal gets a Q3, but the big CC's off. You don't have the easiest, like, point and click stun like a Renekton or whatever. So, certain amount of skill expression going to be required by Kanavi on the Nidalee. But again, a very consummate player of the champion, so certainly able to do that.
As we said, likely that Sheer's going to lose push on that top side. Bot side, you can see that currently. That's a good hook. Maybe that'll change things.
Passive proc comes back on through, but actually not quite. 1 mile auto would have been required.
That's where a lot of your damage comes through. Press the attack, and then also the passive proc. Got some big amount of burst damage coming through from Kai'Sa. Less of the Halo Blades nowadays, and of course no lethal tempo, but big burst. They hit the level 2 first. That's something. Kanavi, though, clearing from top to bot lane, not able to leverage off of this push just yet.
A chunk onto Ruler feels nice, but that will still be a known quantity now, as Kanavi does their Raptors. Was just pinged out, I believe. So both junglers pathing in opposite directions, starting on their red buffs and ending up towards the other side of the map. And of course, with Hoya having the shove, I think that makes sense for Beishuan to be pathing towards the place. He's going to have a little bit of pressure and support.
And again, in matchups like this, the Karthus and the Nidalee, you can tell a lot about how the early game goes with what champions they're playing, right? When you have the AP farmers like Karthus, they're not going to be skirmishing. The Nidalee can force that to go forwards a little bit. Great hook to cancel the instant combo from missing. Doesn't quite get a tower shot from the satchel.
Just over 3 minutes there for Beishuan's clear. I think he'll be on a 3:05 timer, so that's pretty okay. It's about what you're after on the Karthus. Kanavi still going to be a little bit behind that, still not quite as fast as the really legendary clear speed of that Karthus.
Beitran, as you said, headed towards that top side where he has the push. Sheer is alone on this top side. Gold card's been used. He's very low. It's going to be a Dark Harvest stack, at least for Beitran.
There is a teleport from Yagao, but I don't know whether they're going to be willing to do it. Holding onto the gold card, Q3 lands, Dark Harvest proc gain, so maybe that's all they care about. The W comes on down, the Wall of Pain is there. Skittles coming on through, Sheer will press Ghost, and Beishuan just out of range. Another gold card, gonna get another proc, can't quite get the autos, will finally secure the kill.
It's a slow dive, but there's just no response. You can see that Yagao's pushed in mid lane, so you can't end up teleporting away from that. Because Yagao's pushed forward, it means that Kanavi gets a chance to go towards mid lane, but it's not going to be much more than a little chunk as the spear misses. And Sheer goes down in a matchup which is very kind of flipped from that first game of the TF versus the tank.
It's take long enough that Kanavi will be at least be able to claim both Scuttle Crabs. It would have been exceptionally greedy to stick around and try and take that one as well. But still, I think a kill in the top lane is probably more than enough to mitigate that one.
Because you didn't even use either flash for that topside kill as well. TT will be relatively happy with that one. Hoya will have to see whether he can kind of overcome what has been a very sheer-sided top lane player matchup for the series so far on a champion which can absolutely shred through tanks. We have seen the Twist of Fate make Casante's life absolute hell throughout the end of spring and then coming into summer as well.
Yeah, and of course, this might be a moment now for Hoya to finally flex a little bit. He tried with the Renekton last game, but again, partly due to issues outside of a pure 1v1, it ends up very difficult because Skarner gets a 2v1 kill under the tower.
Yeah. I'm going to say, though, Hoya, when he's been on stuff like the Renekton, I don't care that it's comfort for him. I just think this champion's just been absolutely cursed for this player. Occasionally had some good games, but it's just not been valuable. TT, speaking of that comfort, though, they've had to try and find their kind of less so comfort picks, but just really big kind of magical playmaking picks on the other side. Stuff like the Nautilus with the Ziggs and the Karthus behind it could maybe be that one hook into a big kill. You are going to be into the Cassante and the Alistair, but it can be something which helps you later on. Need to see JDG be careful of that pick potential.
Did go looking there. That dredge line made me just catch my phrase just a second. The fleet foot works enough. He's still going forwards. Bold Yagao, but he has missing there, so feeling safe enough to continue to trade through the wave.
In Kanavi, yet to get anything done in the early game. Nidalee gets harder to play as the game goes on. You don't have the best setup ever. You got some CC, but it's not like the gold card on the other side. And Feather, much more reliable here with the hook.
Ooh, the Ignite comes on down. Here comes the aggressive play from the TF. Hoya, though, is immediately fate sealed. Yagao goes forwards, can't quite get the kill. Everyone stays alive.
No Karthus ult to finish off anything, and you can see that Hoya, god damn, that spear was close. Hoya teleports into almost certain death, just about makes it out. Kanavi clearing out the ward in that river helps him. The reason they're doing this, of course, grubs are alive. Hoya's uses ult, uses flash, doesn't have a big point of power, but that honey fruit will definitely help him stay in the fight if he chooses to.
I think Feather needs to get out of here, actually. There's the dredge line down. Yagao looking for a bit of a chunk here on Beishuan. Can't get much more than an auto or two off, but that will still be the grubs given over. The attempted play with the TF doesn't amount to much more than a couple summoners blown, really.
Right, so JDG, in an important early game, do get themselves to the first objective of the game. Karthus heading down towards bot side, doesn't have level 6 just now, but has maybe enough mana to take the dragon, maybe not. Doesn't want to head down towards a side of the map where Ruler and Missing are lurking in the river, so it might just be double objective for JDG. They can test around the early objective of the grubs, get themselves enough of a HP chunk and an ultimate value to get both objectives on both sides. And this is one of those points where we keep talking about how JDG are actually quite a good early game team. It's where the mid game where things start to get a less easy for them. Early game once again, looking okay.
Especially when it's structured and they have a solid plan. They play to it really well. Of course, they've got very, very good laners, it's true. people like Ruler, Yagao, consummate professionals, Ruler in particular, notorious for just being very good, right? So arguably the best in the world. And a little note as well, Bejuan does now have 6, so the Karthus has that potential to impact the map a little bit more. Knavi mirrors it just now, but the Nidalee 6 not really as valuable, I think it's fair to say.
No, not quite the same. We'll see once they get that first item whether they can keep up some of that good early game damage. Yagao has himself, you know, decent early showing on the Yone versus the Corki. We have seen the Yone being picked into the Corki. In LPL, it has been a skill matchup, though. It has felt like it. Yagao doing okay here. Need to see whether they can have the teamfight impact later on.
Has been playing out this lane pretty well. I've been really happy to see the aggressive trades from him. He's not playing this passively. He's hitting a lot of his skill shots and proving like he knows what he's doing on the champions. For all, it's the first look of him on the champion. Seems to certainly have come in looking okay at it.
When it comes to champions like this, I think whenever a mechanically proficient champion comes out, so Akali, Yone, even Hui to an extent too, the easiest way to practice it is in laning phase. The laning phase is the bit where you get to drill that over and over and you get to learn your matchups and stuff like that. Really hard to learn how to team fight in side lane and stuff like that, comparative to it though. I think the Yone is a champion which has a huge upper skill cap in some ways. Yes, he has powerful items and just doing, he has a fairly high... actually, I think he's got quite a low effective floor because you could just like get your big combo and your big ult, you can still do some big damage. But getting that upper end to play it to LPL caliber versus players like Yukal, gotta be careful with that one.
Yeah, and managing that'll be interesting. Missing with the Hex Flash into a double Pulverize. Doesn't lead to anything more, it's just a flashy moment.
Dragon Spawn still yet to be taken by either team. JDG got 2 out of the first grubs, but we haven't seen the double crit. That's a hook and a half.
Fantastic hook. Missing, we got the headbutt back, but they turn around. Huge Fate Sealed. Makes it a 1 for none. Back over the wall, and in comes Ruler with that killer instinct. The TF is proc, but it's a little too late, and Hoya's now in a 1v4. 1xm finally over, but the Karthus ult might get some more. Not quite enough. The burn is huge, trying to get something onto Knavi. The cards rather will get up. It's a triple kill to Ruler out of nowhere. Now 1xn's in danger. Trying to get a bit more is missing with the ultimate rolling means 1xn just can't hurt anybody. JDG's health bars are nearly non-existent, but they're all still alive. Pouncing on forwards, the satchel charge not enough to disengage.
The unofficial quadra kill to Ruler sets the bot lane matchup alight. 1xn goes back and gets his first item, but JDG are so far ahead of where they need to be now. The Kai'Sa gets a shiv. JDG get themselves a huge entrance into the game through a big skirmish on the bot side.
I feel so bad for TT. Another auto, another skill shot lands, and there's 2-3 people extra dead. You
can see that the hook lands, and it's a great chunk onto Missing, and a lot of the damage is going into an Aftershock Nautilus. But Yagao, we said, hey, the laning phase has been going good. What about the team fights? I think this is really good from him. Gets a big clumped up combo. Ruler gets a load of kills, and it means that when the TF comes in, he does have some good... you know, good damage already. Is this happening at a point where the follow-up's already gone? It's dead, it's buried.
Yeah.
And then Hoya has to play off against a lot of very mobile, high-burst champions. Missing still has his ultimate to pop his ult on top of 1xn there. And as we saw, it's 1 kill back as 1xn gets 1 kill back onto Missing. But Ruler walking away with so much gold, that is absolutely not what TT wanted.
I'm pretty sure Missing actually managed to get the level 6 partway through the fight. So it's even more insult to injury. The agony of all that extra XP going over means you can't get that one. And a difficult position, of course, not lights out yet, but still a big, big lead now for JDG in some very poor positions.
The gold's given the Q upgrade over to really early, which is a big thing. Because he gets that Shiv, which does give you a good amount of base AD, well, just AD, not base AD, this is actually a completely different stat. Helps you with Triforce, that one. But you have, well, no, it's very good, very good Triforce.
Base AD,
okay. Actually, a very good stat, though, ironically. Yeah. But he has himself the pickaxe on top of that. That Q upgrade's so important, means that when Ruler is roaming towards top side with ult coming off cooldown right now, Hoya needs to be careful. If Missing gets a combo where Ruler's in range, only the first rank of that ultimate, so it's not the longest range follow-up, he can absolutely start shredding people. Gets that Shiv for the wave clear too. Ruler might just take over the game now.
Certainly in position to, and we've already seen one good Kai'Sa game today.
True.
Like Ruler's trying to show 1xn exactly how it's done. Bejuan. The Karthus still going to be scary enough. It's got a Dark Seal and a Black Fire Torch, so edging towards some serious damage of their own. But first fight really didn't go the way of Thunder Talk Gaming, and that has given a bit of a breath of relief for JDG. Some of the lanes were starting to get shoved in just that little bit. Not anymore. They're now with much better positions, and the K'Sante gets to walk away having, well, TF's not going to be that valuable at the moment.
Compared to what we saw from Sheer in the first game, where it felt like the TF could take over the game, Hoya's going to have to work really hard for it. Now, of course, that TF that was far ahead didn't actually end up winning either the same. Second spawn of Grubs has happened. Ruler has ult, is absurdly high damage right now, and they do have Yone pushing in that top side. So, JDG going to have first swing at this. They're on red side, which we said is not great for going backwards around Herald, but they have a very aggressive composition. That's going to be the Grubs being altered by Ziggs to see if they can take it away. Doesn't manage to do so. JDG walk away, probably with all 5.
Yeah.
Well, okay, 5 of the ones which were the first one killed.
Yeah. Yeah, as many Grubs as were available to them with the end of this one. Of course, that Ziggs was an opportunistic look in, but the moment that ult came out, it kind of signaled that TT weren't really looking for a full contest.
Sheer happily farming up on the spot side as well. Again, this is an very acceptable margin, actually, for this matchup in top side. K'Sante is typically really not happy playing against that TF, and Sheer, who we have said is a big laning player, not necessarily got that, had the carry performance he wanted from the TF. The Skarner was good, though. He walked away with that MVP from that last game and has himself a fine opportunity to go into high-impact mode in this game as well. We've got Kanavi. That's maybe a more worrying thing. Even with the Karthus at best, not quite at the first item. Nidalee gets harder to play as the game goes on. Kanavi is a great Nidalee. Can do a lot of work with this. Need to see how much they can do.
Hoya actually in a lot of danger here. Flash away.
That was
Gets
nice.
a gold card off, but still Hoya taking a large chunk there. Good play from Yagao.
There you go. First game of Yone on the books for him. Never played it before. Uses the ult to go unstoppable through the gold card. That was nice. Forces out a free flash. That's cool. And Hoya, who needs to be a big part of this composition, not going to have that flash, even if he does ult into a big play. You can see that you guys actually cancel the back on the bot side too. Stops Hoya from being able to recall and potentially ult towards top side early when that Herald's being taken. Yagao helping his team, even though he's on the other side of the map.
TF still hanging around, not on vision yet, now going for a recall. Herald started, but gets impatient and backs away to a home in the Baron pit.
Yeah, it's a shame for JDG because they do currently have Hoya locked in the bot side. Yagao has kept him down here. He doesn't have that ult going straight forwards though. Okay.
Gold card, and Yagao's going to take a few turret shots there.
Now, Yagao does have teleport. I think he just... Hang on a second. What's happening here? There's a flash available for Yagao if Hoya were to go forwards. That's the ghost pop too. Where's he going? Where's he going? He's going up towards mid lane.
Okay, this means with Yagao not able to quite join the the health bar pretty low. Missing also exceptionally low. Goes down. Ruler can maybe look to go in. Does already get a kill with the Void Seeker. Over the wall goes Yukal. Now they're going to flying in. Yukal just about alive, but for how much longer? 2 more back the way of JDG. Beitran trying to get Kanavi, cannot do so. The Primal Surge is so obnoxious. A gold card lands down. Should allow for at least 1 back. Probably with the R. The heal and a Primal Surge keeps him alive away from the burn.
Oh, there's not enough items just yet on Beitran. Can't get the kill. And JDG's extended play. Flash forward. Maybe if he flashed before the Q, he would have ended up getting that to work.
Didn't quite land that knock-up, and Hoya survives. The first mechanical misplay I've seen from Yagao so far in terms of his attempted combos.
And that was a really a fun series of plays from JDG. It's going to be a teleport back in, though. Yukal coming back for another swipe at this objective. They're going to not be able to get towards that Herald unless they walk up again. No one's supporting Feather. I think Feather had the right call there. Try and stop the Herald Eye going over. Kanavi gets it all the same.
Yes, look, mid. They're going to just try and siege for mid lane anyway because everyone's going to be late on their resets, and Yagao no teleport means that with Ziggs, theoretically, you could try and get the turret. They can't quite spend enough time there.
Yagao goes towards this top side. Yagao, I think that last series of play from him was pretty intelligent. He tries to stop Hoya from getting towards top side as fast as possible, uses his ult to chunk him down and get rid of that flash, and feels like TT ended up just getting a bit ran around more than they would have liked. I think that'll be a fun one to look back on in terms of the wider map stake. See that TF is ulting up towards here now, but he's at half HP. Means that he can't help this Gauge coming through as well. Yagao teleports in off screen. And while all this is happening, it means that the Twisted Fate can't answer any of this big play. It allows Sheer, it allows Ruler to fly into the play and make a mess of this. Yagao has kept TF completely out of this up until the very end of the play. This is the first time he features on screen.
Yeah, it's just not enough, and then they land the gold card here, but in some ways the damage is done. I feel like maybe Karthus could have pressed Q 1 more time before the R, and that would have been enough.
Maybe. Maybe he was trying to time his ult so Kanavi didn't have the heal off cooldown.
Right, yeah,
that's
true.
maybe the last thing, because you did see he didn't get the heal off before the ult came down. So I think he was trying to say, well, maybe I have a better chance of this, even with an extra Q, if I try and get that ult before the Primal Surge comes back available.
Yeah, but there you go, stays alive, and again, so many low health bars, but no more kills, and JDG now beginning to really extend that lead. About 3,000 is their current advantage in this game.
And so much that is on Ruler. Herald's going to go towards mid lane. They have 5 grubs. This Herald's going to charge in. I don't know if that's great walking forward. It's going to go through.
I guess satchel back, but
he's alright. Alright, he's fine. He's fine. It got a little bit close. But while this happening, Yagao took top lane tower earlier after that fracas and goes down, immediately takes bot lane tower afterwards. Yagao side laning well on the Yone. And again, champion he's not played before. Weirdly, it feels like most mid laners have got at least one game of it around the place so far. It is finally going to be traded for top lane outer turret. First tower of the game from TT. You have to defend their inner turret. They do that with a Zigzal.
They do. Missing comes on down. Yagao going to try and ult onto the pretty tanky front line, but it's just not going to matter. They get the kills, and who needs a minion wave? The damage back is pretty good, though. And all the while, TF continuing to shove around. Sheer, though, still here, and that tower's so low, it's not really going to survive very long at all. Yukal's already burned the flash. Sheer gets to step on forward. Beidrouan hit with a W, which means Kaisa can press R and Killer Instinct into the backline, and JDG, it's not looking close anymore.
Hoya sticks in topside. It's a team call. Wave clear. Wait for Hoya to get something on the top lane inner turret, but they end up over-committing on the bot lane turret. They die in their droves, and JDG walk away with even more gold. What was it, 3,000 gold lead is now 5 and a bit, which is more than 3, in case you hadn't caught on to that one.
That's how maths works, yes.
Maths works that way, you can tell because of the way that it is. And JDG, gonna go back. Ruler is almost gonna be... this is insane. He's 2 items, very early point in the game. He's gonna get towards 3 items even quicker. And a lot of this starts with, going on to the wrong targets. Missing still has ult. Weirdly, he's actually not the one that tanks the tower, so Kanavi ends up just tanking that one instead. Missing probably should have communicated a little bit better on that one. Kanavi could have stepped out of turret range. And they just overcommit to this tower defense. You have to let this go. There's no way you can defend this beyond that point. The tanks are not going to be able to survive the incoming damage. JDG's absolutely can.
Yeah, and now it gets very, very hard to continue doing what Karthus loves to do, which is get camps. He's going to have no turrets to work with beyond the inner ring, and then there's only 2 of those remaining, and defending your jungle vision, defending your camps gets very tricky, and you do need more gold on Karthus if you want to come back in this game. I just don't know how easy that's going to be.
Well, when you have basically no turrets left outside of your base, it's going to be much harder. Baron spawning now. You do have a good ability to clear through this, with Nidalee being pretty good at taking Baron. You have Kaisa, who's one of the fastest AD carries at doing that in the game, and so much vision control for JDG. They can walk up with impunity here. You have the W upgrade coming through from Ruler. Pretty much at this point, I think it is in fact through this. He probably has just enough. Ruler very, very happy to sit and be artillery bot.
Okay, Navi on a flank, looking for a javelin toss. It's just about wide, and actually doesn't need to think about backing away there. Hoya was stepping forwards looking for something. It's a teleport behind. There is. It's Yagao coming on in. This could prove a bit of a difficult moment as the Undertalk are split apart. Yukal going back towards Yagao. Hoya in an awkward position. Beidrouan, now the front line is going to try and die amidst everybody. Ooh. As Yagao cannot prevent the port.
He does end up making sure he's unstoppable for the Nautilus ultimate, though, so he gets out safely. JDG trading ultimates for ultimates and flashes on the side of TT. I think this still works out in favor of JDG.
The issue's going to be that Beidrouan's dead and you've got a Baron up. You don't have a smite.
Oh, yeah, that's true as well. I was like, oh, yeah. Wait, he was in passive, and then it shows up on the left-hand side. So JDG trading ults, trading flashes, no spite. You're absolutely correct. This was Yone's teleport before. Yagao piloting that one again, first time out. JDG should be able to go towards this Baron. This might just be the game after this.
He's got a Hex Flash, and that means he's in behind. He's on a queue of those key members. Ruler presses R, and again the Killer Instincts come on through. A Void Seeker on 1XN. I think we'll be writing a bit of an epitaph on his gravestone. Yagao gets Nautilus. Missing. Will miss the headbutt pulverized, but Yukal now without some options. 1XN tries desperately to at least get something back, but there's just nothing to be found. JDG at this point are toying with him.
Ruler snipes out 1XN at the back end of the fight. Very nearly does the same to Yukal. It will not be the Baron which ends the game right now, but they're going to get themselves a huge fight in a turret. There's a dragon on the table. JDG, they can do whatever the hell they want. They have all the stats to bully out the map.
Lichbane, Liandry's, and a 10-stack Dark Seal. That Nidalee is certainly ahead of the curve now from being, maybe not going so far. Well, now it's working.
Right, which replay we're going back to? Right, so this is going to be around the Baron after Beitron has already died. Yagao does get caught out of his initial combo by Feather. I think he does about as good as he can there, but the problem is the fight has just already been started in earnest. The follow-through from JDG is really, really powerful. Ruler, a real master of being able to walk forwards and continually reposition in these fights, gets himself onto couple of targets. W snipes out 1xN, who has the flash, can't really flash to safety easily from that angle. Goes down to Ruler on the Kai'Sa.
I wonder if he might still have been just in the tail end of his ult animation too, actually.
Nah, he was still walking. He was waddling his way around. He just gets zeroed out by Ruler.
Either way, goes down. And TT, 7,000 gold down. They have a dream of maybe getting something, but missing is just having none of it. Another fate sealed afterwards. It's onto a relatively tanky front line. But that's Beitwan now. He's dead in front of everybody. This might actually end up being Ruler dying. He will go down. Big shutdown, but the health bars on 1xN is gone. Yukal pulls back away. Another rocket would get a kill. That's pretty good. Yugao goes forward, but stunned up. He's dead. JDG going so deep. Kanavi cannot get the kill. Gets a primal surge. Hoya wants to get more. Pounced on. Does get that kill. Backing away. The javelin toss is there. And it ends up being a 4 for 3.
There was no gold card onto Kanavi. He walks forwards as Hoya ults in, and Kanavi just adds his name to the books of his Medjais. Gets himself a load of names in there onto the veritable death note. JDG, it wasn't necessarily the cleanest team fight, but it was a team fight nonetheless. Going to go towards the Dragon. And when the respawns come through, you'd imagine they're just going to rinse, repeat, and look for another big team fight. Missing on the Alistair. Has had some huge engages. Double flashes away from the headbutt pulverize. Those still sadly not able to completely reset the fight. Does feel like at least 1xN manages to turn around some good damage. It's not quite enough to seal things through.
1xN so close to surviving, but there's just enough burn with the Leandres to bring him down, and then Yukal hits the rockets required, and Yagao gets locked down. He's early on trying to go in there and gets pushed.
Well, this is the big thing. Hoya goes forwards again, and he doesn't have a card. So he goes in and it's like, haha! And he doesn't manage to get himself through to that stun card. Kanavi walks forward and completely assassinates him.
A little bit too early on that one. If he had the gold card, that might have been a different state of affairs. And he got 20 pages in the book alongside a Seeker's arm guard. It's Nidalee continuing to be a bit of a menace now.
Yeah, no, that's when Kanavi has now suddenly been to like I can actually team fight. The Zhonya's or the Seeker's active makes it so much easier for it. Missing can maybe get himself a combo over the wall, but just a little bit out of range. And as we said, rinse, repeat, back to the Baron. JDG going to start shredding this down. Ruler on the Kai'Sa, so strong at killing this.
There we go. Going to go down pretty fast. It's going to be a face check required. Beitwan hit with the W from Kai'Sa. Now in danger of being jumped on himself. W comes through again, lands onto Hoya. Another big target. Beitwan just doesn't exist. Into the backline goes Ruler. A cleanse afterwards on 1xN. Again, X marks the spot, but it's just where his body lies. Ruler has had enough of this one. The crown is his, wanting to prove that they might well be the best performing team in the LPL.
JDG, they've had a rough series. Game 1 was an unexpected loss and their first individual game loss of summer 2024. But they end up rallying the troops. Game 2, dominant. Game 3, even more so. Ruler, we've missed his Kai'Sa. Ends up 12, 1, and 10. I don't even think he can improve that score. I don't think the respawns will come through in time. JDG keep themselves a pace at the top of their group.
What a pace it is. There has finally been a blemish on their record. Game 1, a little bit embarrassing, I think, for them from where they were, but still, by far, the better team today. JD talk. Man, this team.
Well, we did say after game 1, where's the extra sauce? Where's the extra spice? They didn't quite have the extra kind of magic. Feels like the Fearless Draft removing stuff like the brand and the Blitzcrank from them. It removes some of their best tools to get those miracle picks and the miracle team fights. JDG, they had a couple more to fall back on. I don't think JDG have been the cleanest so far.
No.
If you look at that kind of series, I still think they are probably a top 3 team. Maybe TT, they overlooked a little bit as the worst performing team in the group. And I think they got a little bit humbled for that one, but all the same, proving that they are, on the whole, based on fundamentals, the better team.
Yep, I think that's the way to do it, and some of those players are just very good. Ruler and Yagao in that game were really spot on. Kanavi pulls out his Nidalee and still just styles on him.
Folks, it has been a long day of League of Legends. I'm Nymaera, this is Initialise. I'm Alex, this is Sam. We're brothers, and we cast the LPL when there's no official broadcast to make sure that these games aren't lost to time, and probably because, well, we enjoy it. We hope you enjoy it too. If you have yourselves a follow or a free Amazon Prime or whatever, drop it to myself or to Sam if you feel particularly entertained by the games today. I'm running out of words, folks. We have cast a lot of games. This is my...
cast again tonight.
I've cast like 260 games this year now at this point. It's a lot of games. I'm on about 1.5 games per day average. I'm going to go rest my voice. Sam's going to go
stream
as well. For everyone who's enjoyed today, thank you for coming and enjoying it with us as well. And thank you for giving us your time. We'll stick around for the MVP. Sam's going to go do his own stream. If you want to ask any more questions, if you want to just